welcome to Take Center Stage. It's your life, own it. My name is Marisa Bludorn, and I am so excited to be here with you. Normally, I'm here with my team, but I really don't know where they are. Hopefully, at some point, they'll join in, but if not, the show must go on. So, I wanted to talk to you today on the importance of uh, effective communication. We are now here in the month of August. And you're probably saying we all talk about communication. We talk about the effectiveness of communication, how important it is. But are we really paying attention to how important communication is across the board? So, Own It magazine and publishing, you know our mantra. If you know Own It well, you know that we focus on self awareness, self development, self mastery. I know for me, when it comes to effective communication, when I'm communicating with someone, I'm always asking myself, am I making this clear? If the information that I'm sharing with someone else, do I really apply it to myself? Because we talk about effective communication and we talk about the importance of being good listeners. And I work with professionals all day long. And one thing I've learned is that we say a lot of things that we don't necessarily apply to ourselves. And self awareness is critical in making sure that when we are communicating, that we're also listening at the same time. And making sure that the things that we're offering to other people, that we're actually consciously applying them to ourselves. Communication is very important because it will, if you're effective in it, it will get you the results that you're looking for. Effective communication, learn the skills of being clear. It's important to understand that, you know, it's the art of persuasion, no matter how you look at it. When you're communicating, you really want folks to get what you're saying. You really want them to get what you're saying because you're in pursuit of results. You want to get results. So you want to make sure that you are clear in your communication if you plan to get the results that you want to get. Also, too, when you communicate, you want people to listen to you. So make sure that you're conscious enough. The art of communication is also the art of listening. Make sure that you're listening to them. Key concepts. So today's theme is about effective communication and influence. Because that's what communication is all about. It's really about the art of influencing others. Either influencing them to listen because you want to make sure that you're engaging enough, that are you keeping the people's attention or not. You want to also too make sure that you're clear in what it is that you want to say. So sometimes I know the Bible says be slow to speak and quick to listen. And the reason why is because you want to make sure that before you begin to communicate, that you yourself are clear on what you're asking, right? And then also too, you want to make sure that you're asking it in a way that it is going to get you what you want. So that's very important too. And I often share with specifically individuals that I work with, whether you have a business, you're advancing your career, or you're a published author. Uh, Many folks know that I am a distinguished Toastmaster, so I'm always promoting going to and joining a Toastmasters group, the art of public speaking, because no matter what, you are going to be required to communicate. And it is important for you to learn the art of communication because there is an art to it. There also is a level of consciousness. That's why I always say self awareness. Be aware of how you're showing up. Self development. Be honest and humble enough to know that you need development in a certain area. I'm humble enough. I love to learn. I am a life learner because I always want to what? Improve myself so that I can show up in self mastery. So I always recommend that individuals who are professionals, business owners, authors, that you join a Toastmasters organization so that you can learn the art of communication, learn the art of public speaking, or just speaking in general. Key concepts to walk away from when you're approaching perfecting your effectiveness in communication. Active listening. Learn the art of negotiating, right? Nonverbal communication, persuasion techniques. The focus is to strengthen your ability to lead, collaborate, and persuade in both personal and professional contexts. So let's back up. Active listening is by consciously saying to yourself, because our minds are wondering, our minds are wondering. I know for me, uh, in the mornings I get up and I'm quiet. I take a few minutes just to be quiet, don't say anything. um, because when we do that, we become conscious and present in the moment, because we have to consciously make ourselves not think of other things. When someone's speaking to you, it is easy to drift off, because we're adults. We have Life is pulling us in 10 different directions, right? We got this on our mind, we got this on our plate, we got so much stuff to do. And so while someone is speaking, it is easy for us to drift off into something else, especially if that individual is not engaging enough in the conversation, or the content of the conversation is not enough that it triggers us to have absolute attention to it. So it's easy for us. So we have to come to a place of consciously and actively making sure we discipline ourselves to listen, right? And so also too, in communicating, you got to look at body language. So when you're speaking to someone, don't just be so focused on what you're saying to them. Watch at their body language, watch their facial expression. Why? Because sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's telling you whether they understand what you're saying, whether they connect with what you're saying, whether you need to pivot in the moment in what you're saying. That's the art of persuasion and negotiating, because the art of persuasion is, if they're drawing back from you, you're losing them. If they're leaning in, you've got them. You've got them, they're listening to you. These are some of the things that when we talk about effective communication, that we're not focused on. So hopefully, in what I'm sharing with you, is a way that you can become more conscious of how effective you're communicating with someone. Rather than talking at them, make sure you're talking with them. Pay attention to how long you're talking. And have you given it a pause to allow them space to communicate as well? People want to make sure, they want to feel in a conversation that it's two ways, not one way. It's important for you to get to know body language. Also, sense the energy in the room. Some people don't even pay attention to the energy, and in that, they don't realize that the room is shifted, right? And when the room shifts, that you have to shift with it. You have to learn how to pivot with it, and that's why it's so important for you to be so self-aware, that it's easy for you to make that transition from one dynamic to another dynamic. So, part of the concept too is the art of negotiation, right? How do we negotiate to get what we want? We talked about in the beginning of this, learning the skills of clear, persuasive communication that inspires action, because we want to strengthen our ability to lead. So when you're in meetings, when you're in conversations with teams or individuals that you're looking to collaborate with, you got to also too listen to what they're saying to you. What are the things that they're saying to you are important? What are they conveying to you or conversating with you about that's valuable to them? Make sure you take a note of that. Be conscious of it. It's not just your agenda that's important, it's also their agenda as well. Because when they see that you value them as much as you want them to value you, then you get them more committed. Then you get them more open to hearing and paying close attention to what it is that you're saying. And so I just want to leave you with this. And I always do my research, because I'm very, very passionate in regards to what I say. So I want to make sure that I'm conveying clarity to you what I believe is important about effective communication. Like I said before, at the beginning of this segment, is that sometimes when you're in a leadership or coaching position, some of the things that we teach and coach on, we have to make sure that we are applying ourselves. And one of the biggest things is connectivity, Are we connecting to our client? Are we connecting to our teams? Are we connecting to our family members? Because this is not just about professional communication, it's the art of communication in general. And we want to make sure that we are connecting, that we pause ourselves enough so that we are able to hear people clearly, connect with them in a deeper and more profound way, so that we are able to influence and persuade, um, with the agenda of making life changing impact, right? It's to make life changing impact. So, top areas for professionals to look at why it's important to influence, collaborate, and expand in your mastered skill set in communication. Influence requires clarity and connection. You want to make sure that you are connecting with your people. You are connecting with the person that's sitting in front of you. You want to be clear. What's your agenda? You want to do the prep work to make sure that when you're sitting down with this individual, that, and this is not always possible, but when it is possible, you want to make sure that you are prepared in the conversation, understand what it is that you're looking to achieve in the conversation. So making sure if your message isn't clear, it can't inspire action. Professionals who communicate effectively can articulate their ideas in a way that resonates emotionally and logically with others. This clarity builds credibility, earns trust, which is very important. Credibility and trust are key, and it makes it easier to persuade stakeholders, clients, and audience to support your vision and your intent. Credibility, trust, and persuasion is very, very important. Collaboration is number two. Collaboration thrives on understanding. In any partnership or team setting, misunderstandings can derail progress and erode relationships. Strong communication skills ensure that expectation goals and feedback are shared openly and understood mutually, creating an alignment, reducing conflict, and fostering a culture of respect. Respect starts again with being a good listener, an active listener. That's telling them that they're valuable. When you are not taking the time to be active in your listening and allow people to communicate, don't interrupt them, allow them to communicate, and don't, you want to avoid as much as possible listening to answer or listening to respond. You want to listen to hear them. You want to be able to hear them. You want to show empathy, compassion, connection with their values. When you show people that they are valuable, they will be open to you. They'll be more active in their listening to you. I have learned that over the years that when you put others first, and this is not about self sacrificing, but when you put others first and make sure that they feel valued, they show up and they stay committed to you. The third one is expansion demands influence across diverse audiences. When you're trying to grow, whether in new markets, industries, or networks, you're engaging with people who may have different perspectives, cultures, or communication styles. The ability to what, like I said earlier, pivot or adapt your message so that it's relevant and impactful for each audience is key. Growth in multiple ways. And you want to be able to be flexible. Things are not, in the real world, things are not perfect. They're not going to be perfectly aligned. Technology, I remember uh, uh, being in a position to speak to over 100 HR professionals. And I wanted to use the technology and I wanted to sing a song. And most people know, I always say it, I can't sing, but I sing anyway, right? Because one, it catches people by surprise, and two, it opens them up. It's something about that experience that opens them up, maybe loosens them up, so to speak. And the technology wasn't working for me to be able to easily do that. And so I had to pivot. So I sang a cappella, and I just sang the verses, and I had to be flexible. This is HR rooms can be tough. They're high professionals, they're high in compliance, so it's like the rules, the letter of the law, and you know, to get them to loosen up so that they can really hear the presentation was important. There's a you know, diverse group of people in the room. Their communication styles is different, and you have to learn how to adapt. You have to learn how to be quick to be able to change, and that comes from really, really first knowing yourself. That's why Own It is always about knowing yourself. Self awareness, knowing what makes you tick, ticks you off, what triggers you, is so important because if you know yourself, I knew enough that if the technology doesn't work, the show must go on. I was comfortable enough in my skin, and that's what my presentation was all about, was being comfortable enough in your skin that if things are not perfect, that it does not have any takeaway from who you are. You still show up. You are still who you are. You still have high value. You're still quality. You're still qualified. And that was very important. So not having technology actually worked in my favor because it showed them that I was not uncomfortable, not embarrassed. I owned who I was. I owned delivering my message and my presentation. And it really persuaded them to the point where after the event, one, they all came lined up to talk to me. And after the event, they said, "How do you do it?" But it comes from taking time to learn your own self, know who you are, value who you are, really, really value who you are. Stay humble. Don't think so highly of yourself, but stay grounded and stay humble. And then care about the audience, care about the people that you're communicating with, that you're conveying your message with, that you're offering your products, your goods, your services, that you're teaching them or talking to them about the book that you've just written. Care about the people, connect with them. I connected with the room. I looked across the room. I made eye contact with the people because I already had my level of self-confidence because I prepared myself prior to coming into that room. And this is another tip, that when you're presenting, not sure of where you at with your presenting, but one thing is for sure, if I can get into a room that I'm getting ready to present in prior to my presentation, I'm in that room for a while by myself. I'm getting connected with the room. I'm knowing the room. I'm feeling the room out. I'm actually taking ownership of the room prior to anyone entering in there. If you have technology that you have to do, go into the room prior to your event, your turn to speak. Get connected with the technology in the room so that you're able to know how to do it yourself, so that you feel comfortable testing it back and forth. These opportunities are not always afforded, but if you do have the opportunity, get in that room and get your feet. It's almost like, I know Coach Tiffany talks about grounded, walking on the floor with your shoes off, getting connected and taking ownership. The art of effective communication is authenticity. It starts with what is in your heart. Are you communicating from head knowledge, or a combination of passion, knowledge, understanding? Are you genuine in what you're offering? Because the art of persuasion, you don't really have to work up when it's real. When it's authentic and you know that what you're offering someone is the real deal, you don't have to conjure this thing up. It's just natural for you. So here it is. 3 top reasons why professionals who want to influence, collaborate, or expand need to master effective communication. 1, influence requires clarity and connection. LMX is leader member exchange. Connect with your people, connect with your audience. That means that could be your kid. That means that could be your children, your spouse, your friends, whoever it is. You want to make sure that you're connecting with them, that you see them. And also, too, when they're speaking in the conversation, you want to make sure you're actively listening. Um, Second thing is collaboration thrives on understanding, making sure that everything is clearly communicated between you, and specifically when you're in a team or you're leading a team, you want to make sure that communication is clear. You want to also make sure that the requirements or the project details, the tasks that are being delegated out, that they're clearly communicated, and then also be open, open to feedback, open to discussion. Just openness and understanding are critically important. The expansion demands influence across diverse audiences. So, expansion is growth. Whether you are growing in life, your career, your business, you're going to be dealing with different people, different personalities, different religions, different backgrounds, different life experiences. And what's critically important about this is that you're open, that you're not in a place of judging, that you're open, that you're understanding, you have empathy, compassion. Those are the critical things in this area. And then also, too, you're going to have to adjust your message, and you're going to have to realize that whole thing, I'm just being me, correct that. Because you want to show, this is where you have to show respect for the diversity, for the differences. And so I pray, I don't want to keep you long. I pray that my words inspired you. I pray that you would just be open to growth. You have no idea the doors that can open when we become conscious, and have a desire to uh, make a real impact in the life of those that we have been called to serve, as a leader of ourselves first, and cultivating and developing the skill sets that we need, that are required for us to learn and grow, so that we can be more effective in leading others. And so, again, I pray my words inspired you. I pray that it's been a blessing. I don't know where my team was today, but it's all good in the hood. I have not been solo on live for a while. So, hey, I came up. So, this has been the importance of effective communication, persuasion, and collaboration. You take care, be blessed, have an amazing week. I'm out.